What does Emma remember? Oh, we got the music. That music. You did what? The Blue Badger? What madness is this? This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible! The head detective of criminal affairs didn't even design him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. What? Lana, what are you doing? Lana? What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. We're getting too... It seems for Lana we're getting a bit too close to the bottom. This is weird. Okay. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems pretty convinced that Darky was the one holding the knife. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Darky guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help Mr. Marshall. You think or you know? What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. In a matter of just a few seconds, Miss Sky was almost killed, then she witnessed a murder about to take place. A little disorientation is only natural. A little? Brave. Yeah, that was pretty brave. Another flash of light. I think I have an idea of what this blue badger actually was.
Objection!
The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? And now you have to deal with this soul-killing music, but here's basically all you have to do. You just have to tilt this thing up a little bit, I think. No wait, wrong way. How is this done again? I know you tilt it up. Come on. I can't be this bad. I remember you tilted it up. That kinda looks like it. No, wait. Gah. Why is this music torturing me? I think this was it. This isn't... Oh, wow, I was wrong. I remember you had to turn it right. I did this before my practice file. You had to tilt it slightly, I remember that much. Come on, why can't I do this? This is terrible. How can I not do something so incredibly easy? Oh, here we go. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. That's a little scary. No, it can't be. Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Objection!
Although we all enjoy Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
Objection!
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness jar? What we know the different... She knows she was in a different location. Allow me to take the let me take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle. Knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gantz. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that actually revealed what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Darky and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gantz's office. Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gantz's office to Lana Sky's office? It's quite a drag. Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife, and the next instant the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more, if the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the prosecutor's award. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room, not on that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Oh right, the piece of cloth. If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, I think she killed him. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? I wasn't going to do that, no, because that's a Choco Con right now. Oh, she fainted. Oh, she fainted. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So was the witness who took the victim's life? And then proved so with her own testimony? This is unprecedented. Why can't you just say unpredictable? Gosh. What? Lana? What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Darky murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try and pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edwards, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we're going to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. Yeah, we can't get a dead person to testify. Looks like Edgeworth has an idea. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? How many possibilities can you have? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Somehow. That's impossible! Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to court record, the real murderer's name the victim may have left behind. It's in the evidence. I have a hunch. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright? Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. This seems to be a really important piece of evidence somehow. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. It looks like everyone's forgotten that this is just the jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there was a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments of when left to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away, but blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Doom. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Why are you biting your thumb? I mean, seriously. What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor? It's time to play Connect the Dots. Yeah, this is actually really easy. Like, really, really pathetically easy. Admittedly, I had trouble with this the first time I played through this. But yeah, this is really easy. And quite disturbing. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this.